Good day, students. Welcome to JSS 1 Music, Week 11. Of all the musical instruments in the world, the drum is perhaps the most fundamental and universal, and Africa is the heartland of drum culture. African drumming is not simply about beating a surface to make noise. It is a complex, sophisticated art that communicates messages, marks social occasions, connects communities to their spiritual heritage, and drives the rhythms that have shaped global music. Nigeria in particular has some of the world's most complex and celebrated drumming traditions. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the history and cultural importance of drumming in Africa, identify the main types of African drums and their playing techniques, describe the concept of the master drummer, explain polyrhythm and interlocking rhythms in ensemble drumming, and name Nigeria's major drumming traditions. Let us beat the drum of knowledge. Drums are among the oldest instruments in human history. Archaeological evidence shows drum-like instruments being used in Africa, Asia, and the Americas for over 30,000 years. In sub-Saharan Africa, drums developed roles far beyond musical entertainment. The drum in African culture served as a communication device, talking across long distances, a ceremonial instrument, marking birth, initiation, marriage, and death, a spiritual tool, connecting the community with ancestors and deities, a social coordinator, gathering communities for meetings and events, and a historical recorder, preserving praise poetry and oral history in rhythmic patterns. In many Nigerian communities, certain drums were so sacred or so associated with royal authority that they could only be played at specific times, by specific people, for specific rulers. The kokoki trumpet and gongon drum were restricted to the Hausa royal court. The bata drum was reserved for Yoruba religious ceremonies associated with Sango, Yemoja, and other Orisha. Types of African drums and playing techniques. Frame drums are drums where the membrane is stretched over a frame, like a hoop. The player holds the frame in one hand and strikes the membrane with the other. An example from northern Nigeria is the gonga, a frame drum used in Hausa ceremonial music. Barrel drums are shaped like a barrel, wider in the middle than at the ends. They can have one or two heads. They are played with sticks or hands. The Igbo Igba is a barrel drum used in masquerade ceremonies. Hourglass drums, also called tension drums or talking drums, have two membrane heads connected by leather tongues. Squeezing the tongues changes the pitch. The dondon, Yoruba, and kolango, Hausa, are the most important examples in Nigeria. Conical drums are wider at one end than the other. The bata, the sacred Yoruba drum set, includes conical drums of different sizes. Slit drums are not membrane drums at all, they are idiophones. A log is hollowed out through a slit, and different thicknesses of wood produce different pitches when struck. The Igbo Ekoro slit drum was one of the most important long-distance communication devices in pre-colonial Igboland. Its sound could carry several kilometers. Drum playing techniques. The same drum can produce multiple different sounds depending on how and where it is struck. Open tone, strike the edge of the drum head with the fingers held flat, produces a clear, resonant, open sound. Muted tone, strike and immediately muffle with the palm, produces a short, stopped sound. Bass tone, strike the center of the drum with all fingers, produces a deep, full boom. Slap, a sharp, creased strike with the fingers that produces a high, cracking sound. In Yoruba dondon music, the combination of these four tones creates the speech of the drum. The master drummer and ensemble structure. In traditional African drumming, a large drum ensemble is led by a master drummer, called the Ayolu in Yoruba, literally mother of drums. The master drummer plays the most complex and variable part, improvising responses to events in the ceremony. Junior drummers play supporting patterns, called ostinatos, that remain steady throughout. The master drummer's role is to communicate, respond, and direct, like a conductor and soloist in one. Polyrhythm and interlocking rhythms. The most distinctive feature of African ensemble drumming is polyrhythm, the simultaneous performance of two or more contrasting rhythmic patterns. In a Yoruba dondon ensemble, for example, One drum plays a pattern in groups of 3, another plays a pattern in groups of 4, another plays a steady 2-beat pulse, and the master drummer improvises on top. All these patterns overlap and interlock, creating a rich rhythmic texture far more complex than any single rhythm could be alone. This technique of interlocking, where each drummer plays a rhythm that fits precisely into the gaps left by the others, is called hocketing in Western music theory. It is one of the most sophisticated musical techniques in the world. The influence of African drumming on world music. When enslaved Africans, including millions of Nigerians, were taken to the Americas, they carried their drumming traditions with them in their memories. These traditions survived and transformed. In Cuba, Yoruba Bata drumming became Santeria drumming. In Brazil, it became Candombo drumming. The polyrhythmic complexity of African drumming became the foundation of the clove rhythm in Cuban music, the samba in Brazil, the funk groove in American music, and ultimately the beat of Afrobeats today. Let us feel polyrhythm with our bodies. Pattern 1. Tap your right hand on your desk in groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pattern 2. Tap your left hand in groups of 2, 1 to 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 2. Now try both simultaneously. Right hand, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Left hand, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. They run at different rates but cycle back together every 6 beats. This is a simplified version of the polyrhythm at the heart of African music. This combination, 3 against 2, is called a hemiola and appears in Yoruba drumming, Afrobeats, salsa, and bossa nova. Learning to feel both rhythms simultaneously in your body is the beginning of African drumming competence. 3 important points. Mistake 1. Thinking louder means more skilled in drumming. In African drumming, control, precision, and the ability to play softly are just as important as power. The master drummer must be able to whisper and shout with the drum. Mistake 2. Thinking the steady repeating patterns are less important than the improvising master drum. Without the steady ostinato patterns, the ensemble has no foundation. Every role in a drum ensemble is essential. Mistake 3. Describing African drumming as primitive or simple. Polyrhythmic African ensemble drumming is recognized by musicologists as among the most technically complex music in the world. Excellent work today. African drums serve as communication tools, ceremonial instruments, spiritual connectors, and historical recorders. Drum types include frame drums, gonga, barrel drums, igba, hourglass/talking drums, dondon, kolangu, conical drums, bata, and slit drums, ikoro. Playing techniques: open tone, muted tone, bass tone, slap. The master drummer leads and improvises. Junior drummers play steady ostinato patterns. Polyrhythm, multiple contrasting rhythms simultaneously, is the defining feature of African ensemble drumming. The 3 against 2 hemiola pattern is a fundamental African rhythm found globally. African drumming traditions survive in Cuban Santeria, Brazilian Candombo, funk, and Afrobeats. For homework, listen to a recording of traditional Nigerian drumming, dondon, bata, or tiv drumming, and write 5 observations about what you hear. How many different drums do you notice? Do you hear polyrhythm? Is there a call and response pattern?